Good evening. Would everyone please rise? We'll be led in prayer by President Pro Tem Mark Bettencourt.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessings upon the members of this council as we assemble here in this chamber to conduct the ongoing business of our city. With your guidance, we will strive to ensure that all our discussions and decisions are for the common good, and your inspiration will instill respect, compassion, and thoughtfulness in all our deliberations. Give us the strength and wisdom to lead by example as the people's representatives, and that peace and harmony will mark all our proceedings and keep us faithful to the trust placed in us by the citizens of your community. Amen.
Amen. Alderman Nash, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business this evening is citizen comment general, and I declare that open. One person signed up on the sign-up sheet, Mr. Marvin Ceruto.
Marvin Ceruto, 100 Star Street, Norwich, Connecticut, United States of America. Just some unfinished business. When I got home a couple meetings ago, I realized I didn't congratulate Stacy Gould for being placed as a liaison for the school board, and also thank the council for having 2 positions as liaison for the school board. On tonight's report, right down the river here is the electric boat. They just got a $22 billion contract. It's 20 years. Just would like to refresh everybody's memories on what can happen. The casinos may or may not be here in 20 years, but I guarantee you electric boat's going to be here in 20 years. And even though we don't have control over our high schools here in town, we do have control all the way up to the 8th grade, where we can prepare a lot of young people for the crafts that will be necessary for building submarines. I just would like to encourage that. We'll keep them here in town. We'll make them good taxpayers, and they'll make pretty good money. Also, some of the comments, this may not necessarily apply to anybody here in the room, but some of the comments that I read in the report, there was one that spoke about the shooting sport as a recreation, shooting sports. I was on the NFA rifle team. I've been a junior shooter. I started at the age of 5. The sport of riflery is a great discipline. I would love to see something like that come back to our education system. I think that's one of the problems we have, is the fact that we've ignored that. And also there was a comment in there that said that they didn't want any more religious activities after school at any of the school facilities. Well, I'd just like to remind everybody, the first line in the Mayflower Compact is, "In the name of God, amen." Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Citizen comment now is open to anyone like to address the City Council with any issue. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Beryl Fishbone, 19 Bliss Place, Norwich. I'm chairperson of the Mohegan Park Improvement and Development Advisory Committee, and I have some invitations for you. And you don't even have to write them down because I will be sending them to you. February 14th through the 17th is the Great Backyard Bird Count. You don't even have to leave your kitchen. You just go to your kitchen window, look outside, count the birds, and report those numbers. These are all things that are free. They're available. Some will take place in the park. Some are going to take place at your home or anywhere else that you'd like to go. The reason that they're important is because they serve as promotions for the city. They get our name, our city, out there to new and different groups and different people. So for the Great Backyard Bird Count, all you do is count the birds for 15 minutes. And if you can identify them, that's even better. Just go to the website and report your numbers. Sunday, March 29th is Good Deeds Day. And we're going to be doing a program called Life on Land, and that's going to be at the Lower Pond. We're going to be doing a trail around the Lower Pond with emphasis on the spring growth that will be seen then. April 24th is Arbor Day, and I'm not sure, but we're going to be working with the state of Connecticut on doing something. April 22nd is 50 years of Earth Day. And so on Sunday, the 26th, we're going to be doing the Red Trail. If you haven't been through Mohegan Park and taken that particular trail, it's really quite lovely, and it's an easy walk to do. National Trails Day is June 6th, which is a Saturday. And then National Garden Exercise Day, we're actually going to have somebody leading some exercises, a yoga or a Tai Chi, up at the Rose Garden. You're actually supposed to be out in your garden that day lifting and digging things up and planting things, but we're just going to do a little yoga or Tai Chi. September 26th is National Public Lands Day, and we're going to be doing a walk along the Green Trail. Connecticut Historic Gardens Day is June 28th, and we are looking for volunteers who would be willing to learn and then talk about the Rose Garden. Because there are some nice stories that go along with the Rose Garden. And we'd like to bring that kind of history back out into the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Great timing. Anyone else like to join the council, please? Yes, sir, please. Please state your name and address for the record.
George Cassell, 58 Finley Hill Road, Marlborough, Connecticut. I was a boater at America's Wharf. This year here, I was told that they weren't honoring my contract. I received a phone call from the general manager on Monday the 13th at 10 o'clock in the morning, and he had told me that he wanted to tell me this in person rather than over the phone. He told me that Joyelle is not going to honor my contract, and I asked him why. He said, well, they heard that we were unhappy there. And I said to him, well, that's not a decision for him to make, that whether we're happy or not to honor me a contract. And in his next breath, he said, well, maybe it's because we spoke to the media. So then I asked the general manager there to give me Jason's number at Joyelle. So I called him, and I had a conversation with him for about 15 minutes. Pretty much the same words that Don, or the general manager, told me there, that we were unhappy. And here again, I told him, I don't think that's the decision for you to make, whether we're unhappy, whether we want to come back or not. He says, well, all the negative publicity that, was said in the paper. I said, that's freedom of speech. And I said, well, it's not that we don't want to come back. We'd like to come back. And he said, well, I'd have to talk to the board and so on and so on. And that was, like I said, Monday the 13th, and I haven't heard back from him. So today, I called the general manager down there, and I told him I'd be there on Sunday to pull my dock box out and my fenders out and to get my refund on my 2 cart keys that I paid $50 for. He says, has Jason called you back? I said, no, not as yet. I said, we were out Sunday looking at other marinas, so you're losing another boater at America's Wharf along with others because of the state of the marina. So it's in your hands, guys. You're losing it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, please.
My name is Carolyn Turner. I live at 281 Norwich Avenue, Apartment A in Taffville. I'm here tonight because I'm on the board of directors for the Norwich Youth Football League, and I also am the vice president of the Night Flight Basketball League. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the rec department and Leanne for the efforts that have been made, not only to help Night Flight, but also most recently with the concession stand at Jennings Field being torn down. We are really looking forward to the irrigation system being put in so our kids don't lose out on another season. My other reason for coming up here is that in my time being involved with the community, a lot of the people that I'm involved with are underprivileged, underserved, overlooked. And I just wanted to point out that we don't see a lot of the council members at the events that we hold. And I'd like to invite a lot of you to start coming down and showing your face a lot more often. The community would like to see you, we would like to see you, I would like to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to join the council? Talk about any issue.
Michael Aliano, One American Way, Norwich, Connecticut. Mr. Mayor, aldermen and women of the council, thank you very much. Thank you for your service to our community. I too would like to address the marina at American Wharf. There's been a lot of negative press lately, and I think our papers have been rather negative about the marina, about our city, about other subjects, and it's unfortunate that's all we hear. The marina definitely has some deferred maintenance, definitely could use some issues. The Joyelles clearly want to get out. They want to sell the property. They've had their own auction, and I believe everyone, including the Joyelles, would like to see them move on. I would like to encourage the council and the mayor, as you have already, Mr. Mayor. Let's put a positive spin on this. It was once rated a world-class marina. It's still an amazing facility. It's nicer than 99% of the marinas in Rhode Island and Connecticut currently. I know firsthand, speaking with people interested in purchasing the marina, that the negative press and the negativity regarding it has hindered the sale. And I think we should start concentrating on the positives about it, the positives about our community, put a positive light on it. It's a sheltered marina, fresh water, floating concrete docks, needs a lot of work. There's no one that I know of more than myself that would like to see her brought back to her glory. I would like us all as a whole to work on putting a positive spin on it and seeing if we can find a new developer, new buyer to come in and work with that individual, that group, to make the marina what it once was and hopefully even better. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you again for your service.
Thank you, sir. Please.
Tammy Cassell, 58 Finley Hill Road, Marlborough, Connecticut. We were at America's Wharf for 10 years. We have spoken up in the paper when they've called us and asked us how it's deteriorated. We all know that it has. Transients coming in and out have commented on it. I know that they've lost a lot of business. What we have tried to do is not say what Joyelle has not done, but tried to ask the city of Norwich to do something to try to stop the bleeding, to try to stop America's Wharf from going down so far that they're not going to be able to pick it back up. We called America's Wharf home for the last 10 years. We've done nothing but try to make it better. Any negative, they say negative publicity has only been speaking the truth, which it's not been cared for. It's known that Joyelle doesn't want it. They do want to find a buyer, like we all would like it, America's Wharf to find a buyer that would care about it and love it and take care of it. A lot of the people at the marina would have done done anything that was asked of them to try to make it better. There's been so many people lost over the last 5 years, like first with the lack of gas, which is not that big of a deal for us, but people have left because of that. The biggest thing I think is a little bit of fresh paint. If Joyelle is interested in trying to find a buyer, I would think it's not really about a little bit of negative publicity about people not knowing if the marina is going to open because the restaurant is closed and they didn't put a tent up, and the pool opened late. So everybody not knowing if the marina is going to open. We were told last week that we're not going to be allowed to come back because we did speak to the media. Everything that we have said was not anything that anybody doesn't already know, that it's in disarray, just wanted someone to buy it, to take care of it, to bring it back to the way that it was. We like the town of Norwich. We've been coming here for 10 years. We were told we can't come back, which is okay if that's what they choose to do, but I wish that the town of Norwich would either step in and take over the lease, take it over, do something before it goes down so far that you're not going to be able to recoup what you're losing, which a lot of the transients that have come in over the last couple of years get there, realize what they see is completely different from what they used to see, not being told that the restaurant is open, because on the website it still says that it is.
Excuse me, could you please summarize?
I'm sorry, what, hon?
Please summarize.
So I'm just saying that I think it's really sad, and I just wish that somebody would do something to try to save it before it goes under and they're not going to be able to bring it back. That's all.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to address the council, please, on any subject? Anyone else like to address the council on any subject? Third time. Anyone else like to address the council on any further subject? Seeing no one else, then I declare general or citizen comment closed, and thank you all for sharing your information and concerns.
Petition and communication. 1, report from the Norwich School Facility Review Committee 2018.
Take a motion, please, to accept this communication. Alderwoman Wilson, second by Alderwoman Miles. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous. The vote is 7-0.
Number 2, letter of resignation of Zachariah Stover from the Harbor Management Commission.
Motion, please, to bring this forward. Alderman Nash, second by Alderwoman Miles. Is there discussion? Yes, Alderman Wilson.
I just want to thank Zachariah for all that he's done for the harbor management while he's been on it. He does a great deal for this city. Truly a big shoes to fill, and we wish him best in whatever he continues to do.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Yes, Alderman Nash.
Are we sure you wouldn't reconsider? All right, thank you.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? It's unanimous. The vote is 7-0.
City Manager's report.
Thank you. This is the city manager's report for January 21st, 2020. I attended the monthly Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments and the monthly Southeastern Connecticut Transit meetings. I attended the mayor's informational session with our local representatives. I had the pleasure of attending the 35th annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday celebration luncheon that was held at the Norwich Free Academy, and the farewell reception for Jill Smith, Executive Secretary at the Fire Department, farewell reception. Jill has been with the city for 30-plus years. Thank you for your service and congratulations on your retirement. Comptroller Josh Pothier and I met with city department heads, volunteer fire chiefs, and Otis Library regarding the upcoming 2020-21 budget process. We will be meeting with Superintendent Stringfellow and staff regarding the school budget on January 23rd, which will conclude our initial process. The Mohegan Park Disc Golf Committee, a subcommittee of the Mohegan Park Improvement and Development Advisory Committee, has started fundraising for the 9-hole disc golf course in Mohegan Park. Their goal is to enhance the recreational opportunities offered by the city while increasing the overall attraction of our park. The committee has begun efforts to fund the project solely through community donations and sponsorships without the use of taxpayer dollars. My assistant, Jackie Barbarosso, has shared that information on the city's Facebook page. The Community Development Block Grant has been awarded $2.9 million for the Lead Hazard Control Program and has begun taking applications for this grant period on a first-come, first-served basis based on income eligibility. Most homes in Norwich predate 1978 and therefore are likely to contain lead hazards. These funds are provided to low to moderate income residents of the city to eliminate lead hazards in their homes at 0% interest. For more information or to apply for the program, contact the Community Development Office directly at 860-823-3770. The city's lockbox tax payments as of Friday, January 18th, were 848 payments, totaling approximately $948,000. Payments at Norwich People's Bank branches were 171 payments, totaling $265,000. I also have attached the city department's Otis Library and Norwich Community Development Corporation reports for the quarter ending December 31st, 2019. That concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, John. Are there questions of the city manager? Seeing none, again, thank you very much. Just before citizen comment on resolutions, members of council, you were handed out a motion for adding a resolution for possibly under suspension. At this time, I would like to move for suspension of our rules to take such action. Alderman Nash, seconded by Alderwoman Gould. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of suspension or rules? Thank you. That is unanimous. At this time, I would like to add a resolution concerning an act concerning jobs in and revenue from the gaming industry. Is there such a motion? Alderman Nash, second by Alderwoman Gould. For purposes of discussion, this resolution speaks to an issue that was raised at the last Southeastern Council of Governments meeting this past Friday. This refers to legislation that will be filed in Hartford in the next General Assembly that our own state senator and other members of the House have been working on, along with our two Native American tribes. And the resolution speaks to a resolution on revenue concerning cities and towns. Particularly, it has the potential to increase Pequot Fund revenue to communities across the state, and it will address other issues about gaming in one public offering. That is the purpose of this resolution, and they've asked that the cities, particularly the 22 who serve in the COG here in southeastern Connecticut, take a public position on this. This was discussed at a workshop this past Saturday. 4 of us were able to attend and meet with our state senator, as well as Mr. Dubitsky, and that's why it's here. That's the purpose of the action that I'm asking you to add to our agenda. Is there question or discussion? Yes, Alderman DeLucia.
Just for purposes of our agenda, is this new business resolution number 7?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that clarity. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adding this resolution 7 to our agenda? That is unanimous. The vote is 7-0. A motion to come out of suspension, please. Alderwoman Miles, second by Alderman Wilson. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you very much for your indulgence.
Citizen comment on resolutions. Sorry.
I declare citizen comment on resolutions open, and the first sign-up is Mr. Marvin Cerruto.
Marvin Cerruto, 100 Star Street, Norwich, Connecticut, United States of America. On resolutions 2, 3, 5, and 6, just wanted to say I'm in favor of that. I wanted to add a little bit to that. In the past, I've spoke about the relationship between municipalities, Norwich and Hartford, Connecticut, and the lack thereof, or the failure thereof. I still haven't got a straight answer on 1,200 unfunded mandates in the state of Connecticut. That would be nice to get an answer on that. And I may as well speak to Resolution 7, even though I haven't read it. But when the casinos were coming to town, one of the sales pitches was there was going to be a bullseye, and Norwich was the bullseye. Well, I think it's in inverse. I think it's the outside of the state is the bullseye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I'd also like to address the council on resolutions on our agenda. And I'd also like to speak to any of the resolutions on our agenda. Third time, anyone like to speak to our resolutions on our agenda? Seeing no one else, I declare that citizen comment closed. Thank you, sir.
New business, number 1, relative to a reappointment to the Harbor Management Commission.
Motion, please, to bring this resolution forward. Alderwoman Gould, second by Alderman Nash. Is there discussion? For purposes of the public, the person being reappointed is Mr. Mark Sakusa. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? It's unanimous. The vote is 7-0.
Number 2, relative to disbanding the Schools Facility Review Committee 2018.
Motion, please, to bring it forward. Alderwoman Miles, second. Alderwoman Gould. Is there discussion? Alderman Wilson.
Just want to say thank you again to those that did the hard work of getting us to where we are with the report. Without your commitment, your dedication to meetings, a lot of research, a lot of decision-making, we wouldn't be at the point where we are now. And I hope that we take heed to the findings, the information given, and we actually do something with it, because that was a lot of time that was preciously spent by each and every member of that committee.
Thank you, sir. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries. Vote is 7-0.
Number 3, relative to establish a Norwich School Building Committee 2020.
Thank you, sir. Motion, please bring it forward. Alderwoman Miles, second. Alderman Nash. For purposes of going forward, I have language to amend that I'd like to recommend, and I will read it carefully. Down in the 5th paragraph, I'm asking for a motion to change the language that it now be read as, be it further resolved by the Council of the City of Norwich that 11 individuals be appointed as members of the Norwich School Building Committee 2020, and this is the new language, with at least one member from the construction industry, and that the appointments to be made no later than the second meeting in March, and the following be appointed to serve as ex officio members of the Norwich School Building Committee 2020. The Superintendent of the Norwich Schools, the Assistant Superintendent of Norwich Schools, the Norwich School Business Administrator, the Director of Student Services and Special Education, the Norwich City Comptroller or his designee, the General Manager of Norwich Public Utilities or his designee, the Public Works Director or his designee, the Corporation Council, and the Mayor of the City of Norwich.
That's so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Alderman Nash, moved by Pro Tem Betancourt, second by Alderman Nash. Now that's before us, let me please explain. We have a process in the city where we take application for appointments, and then interviews are then held. It is our intent to take applications for the 11 members who would serve on the school building committee, including one who must be from the school construction industry, and that those interviews would be held. That is a public meeting. Anyone can attend during those interviews. And then that our appointment committee, subcommittee of the council, would make then recommendations to the entire council to make those 11 member appointments. and it is our goal to have this completed by the second meeting in March. That is the purpose of this amendment. It is to create the committee, to name the ex officio members this evening, and then to allow for the normal appointment process to move forward. Yeah. There will be appointments from the City Council as well as members of the Board of Education we are looking for your recommendations. I see our new chairman. Congratulations. You're welcome. Is there question or discussion? Yes.
Yeah, obviously, with the appointments, I'd also like to note that we would be looking for other stakeholders, obviously, members of the general public and probably some NPS staff that we would definitely want to be active participants in this process, because it is going to be a long process, and we need a group with some staying power, I would say. Part of the reason we're talking, the mayor and myself are talking about this, we're using titles because by the time this process is done, good chance none of us are going to be here, or there's a possibility thereof anyway. So it's how long this process is going to probably take because the building committee in and of itself will also be the guiding process through the actual construction phase of the project, and we're talking years going out. So.
Thank you. Alderman Nash?
I just want to comment on the 11 members. This is our largest part of our budget, and a lot of times we get criticized, both the Board of Education and the council, on us being poor stewards of our budget. This is an opportunity for you to come out. Doesn't matter what political affiliation you are, just come out. This is your community with over 2/3 of the budget going towards this particular item. If you don't come out and volunteer, and listen, volunteering is tough. It takes time. It's consuming. It's not easy. Trust me, I know. But it doesn't get done if the people in our community sit back and let somebody else do it so they can throw stones and bottles at them later. Get out, put your name in, step up. Please come out and help the youth of our community, the teenagers of our community, and our future workforce, as Mr. Ceruto said, of our community. We need to keep these kids here. We don't need them leaving and going to other communities and making those communities successful. So this is your chance. Get out. Sign up. Thanks.
Yes, Alderman Wilson.
Two things. I think one of the things that we've heard several times tonight is this is our chance to chart a new path. We talk about negativity versus positive image. This is our chance to do that. We hear a lot about what's going on within the educational system. This is going to be a large task, but it's much needed. I think the other part too is I hope we do our due diligence of each of us up here sitting on the council, but also other individuals helping to make sure that this is a diverse committee. We have a lot of stakeholders in this community, but we need to hear from every single facet in order for us to make sure that we're doing what's best, not just for this generation, the next generation, but even the group beyond this. We got to look at this project beyond 25 years. I think we look at where we're at now. We waited a long time to get to this point, and it's been more than 25 years. So this is a huge undertaking. It's going to reshape our school system from what many of us have known for many of years. And in order for us to do that, we've got to be willing to be diverse as to who we put on this committee. So I just would advise, as we're shaping this group, we make sure that we keep that in mind, because there are a lot of things that are coming down the pike, as far as developmental opportunities, as many have stressed. But if we don't do the due diligence of getting different groups on this committee, not all of our stakeholders are going to be heard in the process.
Thank you. Is there further comment? Being none. All those in favor?
Questions on the amendment?
On the amendment. Question is on the amendment. It's unanimous. On the resolution as amended, is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. The vote is 7-0. And thank you.
Number 4, relative to Regional Performance Incentive Program grants through Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments.
Motion, please, to bring this forward. Alderman Wilson, second, Alderwoman Miles. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous.
Number 5, relative to creating a City Council and Board of Education ad hoc committee.
Motion, please, to bring this forward. Alderman Nash, second Alderwoman Gould. Is there discussion? Yes, Pro Tem Bettencourt, please.
I'd like to make an amendment just to the sponsors. I inadvertently did not include Alderman DeLucia in this, as he was the initial submitter of this in the next resolutions. So if I could please to amend to add Alderman Joseph DeLucia to the sponsors.
The second, please. Alderwoman Wilson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Amendment carries. Is there further discussion? Yes, Alderman Wilson.
Again, kind of going back, to the last resolution, but more importantly for this one, we've spent many of years going back and forth between both bodies as to what our educational budget should look like, what's the real dollar amount versus what's not the real dollar amount. I want to thank Alderman DeLucia for crafting this early to get us started on having the conversations, the hard conversations about our budget. But more importantly, I hope that this is a civil and productive conversation about where we are as the state of education here in the city of Norwich. Because there are a lot of unknowns that even us up here on the council may not understand, that members of the school board and their staff are able to educate us. So I think part of what I urge is that as we create this committee, we all sit back and also do listening as well as talking. Because there is a lot to learn, a lot to dive into, but more importantly, we have to remember that not only are the taxpayers who we serve, we also serve each and every kid for the decisions we make up here. So as we continue to have these discussions, we need to make sure that we're listening to one another, and it's not a he said, she said, or criticizing, but more importantly, us working together to do what's best for each and every student here in the city of Norwich.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution as amended? Unanimous. The vote is 7-0.
Number 6, relative, sorry.
She's so excited.
Sorry. Relative to appointing members of the City Council and Board of Education ad hoc committee.
Motion, please, bring it forward. Alderman Nash, second Alderman Wilson. Is there discussion? Yes, Pro Tem Bettencourt.
Again, motion to amend to add Alderman Joseph DeLucia to the sponsors.
Second. Alderman Miles. Is there discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous. The resolution as amended. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. 7-0 is the vote.
Number 7, relative to join CCOG in support of an act concerning jobs and revenue from the gaming industry.
Motion to bring this forward, please. Alderman Nash, second Alderman Wilson. Is there discussion? Alderman Wilson?
I'd like to make it an amendment to the sponsors. Alderman DeLucia was also there on Saturday for our workshop, and I want to add him as well for his support too.
Is there a second? Alderwoman Miles. Is there discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. The motion of the resolution as amended. Is there further discussion? Alderman Wilson.
I think kind of going back to what you have said, Mayor, is this is us taking a position here in the city of Norwich on an important piece to our citizens here. We have many residents here that work at the casinos, and all we're doing is asking for our fair share, but also supporting the importance of the jobs that we have our residents that are employed for our casinos. So we're just emphasizing our support for keeping and sustaining those efforts.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Yes, Alderman DeLucia.
I would just like to say that at the workshop on Saturday, it was crystal clear that the intent behind this legislation is to strengthen the relationship between the city of Norwich and the region and the two tribes that are such a big part of our region. And I wholeheartedly support not only this resolution, which I intend to vote for, but also the legislation that will come in the upcoming session in Hartford. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? I will add 2 cents. This really represents an opportunity for us to work hand in hand with our state elected officials, our 2 federally recognized tribes. And it's also an opportunity to perhaps bring to closure what you've read about, which is the battle of where a casino goes and where it doesn't go. At this time, we were advised that the Bridgeport delegation is in discussion and believed to be on board so that that battle could be put to rest as this goes forward. Again, at this time, anyway, it's important that we carry this action forward. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous, the vote is 7-0.
I hereby move pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 1-200, subsection 6, that the members of the Norwich City Council go into an executive session for the purpose of discussing strategies and negotiations with respect to collective bargaining. The following shall be asked to participate during all or portions of this executive session at the request of the City Council. City Manager John Salamone, Director of Human Resources Bridget Marks, Finance Director Josh Pothier, and Corporation Counsel Michael Driscoll. I hereby further move pursuant to Connecticut General Statute Section 1-200 subsection 6 that the members of the Norwich City Council continue in executive session for the purpose of discussing the acquisition of real estate or interest in real estate when publicly regarding the site, purchase, or construction would adversely impact the price of the same, to review preliminary drafts of proposals in the development and use of the property, to review draft engineering or feasibility estimates and evaluations, including prospective public supply. The council having determined that the public interest in withholding such documents clearly outweighs the public interest in disclosure, and to review commercial or financial information given in confidence not required by statute. City Manager John Salamone, Finance Director Josh Pothier, Planning and Neighborhood Services Director Deanna Rhodes, Corporation Counsel Michael Driscoll, General Manager of Norwich Public Utilities Christopher LaRose, Chairman of the Board of the Commissioners of Norwich Public Utilities Robert Staley, President of Norwich Community Development Court Robert Mills, Vice President of Norwich Community Development Jason Vincent, and Chair of Norwich Community Development Board of Directors Robert Buckley, and Attorney Mark Block shall be asked to participate during all or portions of this executive session at the request of the City Council.
Second it. Pro Tem Betancourt, all those in favor of the motion to executive session? It's unanimous. Room 319, please.